Here's the thing. Relationship, fatherhood, marriage, it's a journey of two people. But most of us, we are focusing on one person. It's more like maotwana koloi, a four. If you give attention to the only one, the others will suffer and the car won't move. Kalibito is Robert Maposa. I'm in entrepreneurship, and always I like to say I'm a full-time dad. You know, most of our upbringing, a single parent household. Not that mama le papa bale present. And I kid you not when I tell you this. Never in a day have I seen my mom and my dad man. But for sure, I know they have disagreements. They happen. They just don't do it in front of us. And also that it taught me as a man how to deal with stuff. You know, you don't just wake up in the morning, then you just start acting out of proportion.
So I think one of the things that we really neglected is to teach a boy child on how to take care of themselves. If we really want to change this GVB, high violence, men who are killing themselves, killing other children, we really need to start taking or allowing a boy child to be a human being, the way we allow women to be.
With me, like now, in my relationship, it's very hard for me to raise my voice or in person, like and stuff like that, because I've never seen it. So that's the other thing. If you don't see something happening, you won't do it. So I feel like some of the boy child out there, okay, I grew up without a father, so that means my kid can also do that.
Welcome. My name is Boitumelo Keoagile. I'm the host of Blossom with Boy. Welcome and thank you for watching the channel and for subscribing. Today I have a very interesting guest who I'm inspired by him. I'm empowered. He's such an inspirational person. We met around town, and he's somebody who picks me from work every day, and I've learned so much from him. Such a young person, but I thought maybe you guys would love to know him as well. Would you love to introduce yourself to the rest of the viewers, Ra?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I'll say thank you for having me. Although I'm feeling the pressure right now, because it makes me not have room for mistakes. But Kalibito is Robert Maposa.
Okay.
Yes, but I was raised here in Botswana. I'm in entrepreneurship. And always I like to say, I'm a full-time dad.
Yes. That's one thing that I intrigued me to want to have you on the podcast, because my podcast is one that wants to encourage and empower people to want to build things in a different way that were not done before. In our culture, in our country, men are mostly used to not being present in their children's lives, or maybe not tend to just give money and not being there and be passively there. I love the fact that during our conversations all the time, you always know where your child is. You always are trying to provide for them, making ends meet, and you are always you always have a plan and trying to be there and trying to do with the means, the little that you have. And I love how you always go an extra mile. You'll be telling me how you knocked off at 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. you are back, or maybe on the line. And that really is an inspiration, looking at how our youngsters also don't like to, or maybe they're discouraged. I don't know the word that I can use, the right word to use for it. We are not, we don't want to try different things. What will people say? And we think there are certain jobs that could sustain us, or maybe they're perfect for us. Can you tell us, how did you, maybe your upbringing, because I think there's something about you that is different from our people in Botswana. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there are not good men out there in our country. But there's a mindset shift that we want to do. And every day when I have a conversation with you, I tend to see the things in a different light. Where, hey, if people in our country or maybe men in our culture would see things like this, a world would be a better place. What really made you to be this different? Because I can see a difference with you.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you for all the compliments. But firstly, you remind me something that happened like on Wednesday.
Yeah.
When you're talking about always knowing where my child is.
Yeah.
I pick up kids like almost every day. I take kids to school, to home and everything. And when the storm was happening, the parents were calling and I could see the impact that thing had in those kids. Every time a parent called, those kids will stay calm. Yeah, they were not worried. And they were like, they were not settled.
Yeah.
But after the parents called, they were settled. Then I see, so actually, engaging with your kids, showing them that that's the problem. We are so afraid to show affection to our kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's the problem with that.
What do you think could be the problem for us to be so afraid to engage?
I think most of us is we are really afraid to be vulnerable.
Why do you think we are afraid?
Vulnerability comes in a different way. Most of us here, although Kimutswana guys,
Kimutswana, don't think he may be born in Zim, but ordinarily he's from Kimutswana, West. You'd be confused.
So I feel like most of our upbringing, a single parent household, and I have seen the impact of it, of growing up in a single parenthood or in a both parenthood. Present. And I kid you not when I tell you this. Never in a day have I seen my mom and my dad man. But for sure, I know they have disagreements. They happen. They just don't do it in front of us. And also that it taught me as a man how to deal with stuff. You don't just wake up in the morning, then you just start acting out of proportion. So I feel like that thing also, it helped me how I was brought up. It molded me and showed me how to deal with my problems. You don't just jump into problems. As you know, and my dad, he's a really quiet guy. He knows how to deal with problems. Like when somebody acts out of character, he takes his time to act. So that's the impact that it had growing up with both parents. So back to the issue where maybe men, they're not like too present in their kids' life. I feel like, with me like now, in my relationship, it's very hard for me to raise my voice or in person, like and stuff like that. Because I have never seen it. So that's the other thing. If you don't see something happening, you won't do it. So I feel like some of the boy child out there, okay, I grew up without a father. So that means my kid can also do that. Okay, I made it. So I think that could be the other problem, because I even spent most of the time, research, why people
yeah, you did tell me about that.
So I started asking myself, and I see on social media, on Facebook, people saying like, I'm like, how? Like, so I started, before I had a kid though, I started doing research like, why the why part? Why but is it kanyangwana kana the other issues? Then within my findings, through asking people, through my experience, through seeing friends, most of the time, the things that we take lightly is the pregnancy stage. That's where most of the problem is. As I grew up, even now, no one sat me down and told me, Robert, this is how to take care of a pregnant woman. So I feel like a boy child in that way, most of them, not all, but most of them, they know what to do. But as a man, you don't know. Because everybody just assumes, no, he's a man. Hey, so he will handle it. No one set me down at, Robert, you have a girlfriend and she's pregnant. This is what you expect. This is what to do. This is not what to do. So those type of things, I feel like, influence. Because when somebody is pregnant or your partner is pregnant, they go through different emotions. Their physical body changes. They don't feel like themselves anymore.
Okay.
They don't like.
And that's the stage where most women is the test of the strength their relationship. Because one, like you were saying, nobody ever prepared you for that stage. Mosadi o khona gore behavior ya gagwe e change. It's gonna need a bit of patience from you, which you don't know. When I tla ro bona acta in a different way, you'll think gore motho ke must speak here. So that way there should be preparedness e leng gore kana change readiness e leng gore ya dirisiwa kana ya diriwa for somebody gore expect this is what going to happen. And also it made me think gore back then go ne go na le bojale le bogwera, which I don't know most gore no go iragalang. But I think we lost our culture mo eleng gore gongwe these are the stages tse eleng gore ke be go na le preparedness somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I can also highlight go na le this Pretorian guy o molda bana to
I think I've seen it on Facebook. Yeah.
I think these things we tend
some
to
boot camps or stuff.
Camp eleng gore I think these things we tend to, due to modernization, we tend to want to leave some things behind, saying maybe they were more valuable. When you talk of maybe how to be a man, nobody ever prepares a man gore monna o ntse jang kuru tla bontse hela ho, you then become a teenager, then you start dating khantile o setse o imisitse khantile o ra go ngwana ha gona go pe o tla go tse ha tse a nne ha tse lwana gore mme ka gore go nnile le diphetogo tsa gore mo go wena ke ka ha go itshwara ba gago boitshwaro jwa gago bo tshwanetse go nna jana le jana le jana. And ke dumela gore in most cases, people's behavior would change if there was engagement, if there was good role modeling, and also we don't have people who are brave enough or strong enough to allow themselves to be good role models. If leaders out there would stand up and be role models, I believe that we could have role models. It's our father, and even the role model. Our community would change. Like for instance, right now we live in a community where marriage, for instance, if you want to get married, if you didn't have anyone who modeled what a good marriage or what a healthy marriage would look like, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have attracted me on how you portray yourself or how you hold a conversation or how you talk to someone. And it takes me back to us as a community. What is it that you are missing out on in terms of us trying to build our community? Ke dumela gore we can start to build from somewhere. I
feel like here's the thing. Relationship, fatherhood, marriage, it's a journey of two people. But most of us, we are focusing on one person. Yeah. It's more like maotwana koloi, a four. If you give attention to the only one, the others will suffer and the car won't move. So the thing is, we are too much focusing on the girl child than the man child. So in a way, even now, if you ask me or you ask anyone, any guy you ask, how do you take care of a woman? What's expected from you by a woman? They will definitely tell you. But how come what can you offer a man? Washing the dishes, that's not all. Doing laundry, that's not all. Okay. I can do my laundry. Okay. I can cook for myself. Yes. We spend most of the time, even myself, mosadi o rekala di-flowers, mo rekala something nice. But what about me?
Yeah.
I'm a human being. I have emotions. I feel, I touch. I want to feel loved also. So if you feel like as much as we are ignoring the man child, we don't a drive a relationship. Could you imagine you can't give attention to that main thing that drives the relationship, then there's no going anywhere. So until we give the man child attention, this is how you select your woman. A woman's supposed to be like this. As a man, we are taught provide this. There's too much pressure on a man.
Or even say, this is how you take care of yourself first.
Exactly.
Because how do you take care of someone when you can't take care of yourself? So I think one of the things that we really neglected is to teach a boy child on how to take care of themselves.
Self-awareness.
Yes, they are really focus too much on taking care of the family, the children, the finances, could have been the man, and they forget the emotions as well. Men are not supposed to be emotional, but I feel like if we really want to change this GVB, high violence, men who are killing themselves, killing other children, men who are all these abusive stuff and emotional things that are escalating all the time. We really need to start taking or allowing a boy child to be a human being the way we allow women to be. There was a point where, there was a time where I never forget Prophet Joshua TB, I think Prophet Joshua Salman, he once said, there is a party, there is a lamb and there is a lion. It depends on us women, the person that you are staying with, how do you treat that person? If you are going to experience the lion in that man. But if you know how you treat them, always soft, always gentle, you are going to experience the lamb to a man. And I think with the relationships that I've built with my female or my male friends, or maybe the guys, I've come to realize that is actually true. It's okay to be vulnerable with yourself. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to feel hurt when you feel you are hurt and drop the ball. Because at times we don't want men to drop the ball. Definitely. And at times him feeling of the pressure is just allowing him at times just to drop the ball and recollect themselves again. The same way the women can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This reminded me of something that once happened in my presence. I was with this other friend of mine, and she was talking to the boyfriend. So they were going through stuff, and the girl was asking me, why men are like this, I'm there like, so I'm listening to the story. So I get the full story of what happened. So apparently the guy didn't want her to go somewhere else, but she went. But then the response that she gave was so interesting to me, because he asked the guy, that's a bullet. That's like a really big bullet. That's the thing about females. They would expect you to be a husband, but they can't be a wife.
But then don't you think we are messing up things where nowadays we cohabit, we live like married people, yet we are not married? Don't you think we are creating our own problems where we are now living like husband and wife? Yes, along the way, the other person is going to feel like, but I'm not the wife. But why are we living like married couple?
That one is a tricky question, because it's a yes and it's a no. Because most of us, we cohabit for different reasons. Some of them, finances. We can deal with our finances better. So it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. The whole cohabiting thing, that's not the problem.
That's not the problem.
It's not a problem. Us human beings are the ones are the problem. I have this saying, where they say will, they say way. If somebody's willing, they will make a way for it. So where you are cohabitating, you are not okay. Some
what does the Bible say about
no, I do. No, I do know it's against that. But I mean, we are bending a lot of rules.
Yeah. And that's why we create our own problems.
Unfortunately, that's how the world come to. We have to bend some rules to accommodate ourselves. Yeah. I don't think it's much of a problem, but although it's a problem because now you guys are living as husband and wife. Lenyalo doesn't excite you anymore. Yeah. And that's the other problem also. We are treating marriage like it's different from a relationship. So I don't understand how marriage is different from a relationship.
I think marriage is different from a relationship because marriage is from God. Yeah. And the relationship, the moment it becomes a marriage, it's inclusive of God and it's an institution, and everything would be protected by Mudim, and how you take your steps and everything. And there are a lot of things for a marriage wa Mudim o leadwa ka teng, not like the worldly marriage. So if you want kingdom marriage, there are things you do or maybe you commit to. The practices, your everyday life and how you present yourself. So I think marriage these days is, I don't know if it's meaningless. Reputation because of how we lead it and how we want it to be, not the way how God made it to be. Yeah. So I think if we could go back to the drawing board and say, or in the Bible, or maybe more in a religious, in a spiritual way, this is how marriage looks like. And in a family of, in the kingdom of God, this is how marriage looks like. Do you think if we could go back to that drawing board, marriage would be any different?
I think it could. But I feel like that's the understatement. We shouldn't approach it that way because in a way, not everyone was sokologile. Yeah. But harka focus mo ilong gore sokologa, then this and that, gore, go sokologa go tla at your own time. It takes time. Some they ba sokologa late, bangwe early. So I feel like for us to eliminate the gender-based violence, we shouldn't focus much on that. Let's just build a healthy relationship. Let's focus on teaching people on how to build a healthy relationship. They will find their way to God. They will definitely do. Because you're supposed to be married in a holy way. So you feel like in a way, we could encourage that person. I believe in don't shut the door on others. Yeah. Don't just tell me, walk with me. Walk through with me. Robert, this is how you do things. Also, I have this thing where most our parents, they kill our dreams more than the dreams kill us. Yeah. Because maybe you want to pursue music and you know how music it is, Botswana. Like maybe football in a way like that. They will say, yes, Mamang tried this, it didn't work out, So I'm asking myself, how are we building people that way? We are crashing and something that's in your heart, you can't take it. So most small imagine you are in the office and you're just thinking about right now. I just feel like parents should be more supportive to their kids. And once you are being supportive at your kid, they are learning. So this is how you mold a human being. Just like me. I think I had good support. I can't say 100%, but yeah, it was there. It was there. It showed me.
I think also our parents gave us what they can because of what they knew, or the tools or resources or information that they had. So I think with us it's changing because we are now everything is out there. We have information, we have resources like money, finance, we have internet, we can research, we can hire tutors, we can therapists. Everything, or we make things available for everyone. And also earlier you were speaking on how we can teach people on how to maintain healthy relationship. How do you think we can maintain healthy relationship?
Okay. Wana tlhaloganyo. That's the good part about it. Tlhaloganyo khana go train. Tlhaloganyo khana go ruta. Anything and everything you can. So that's from a relationship level, or even at home. How vulnerable are you to your own parents? And do they create that atmosphere? Because I'll give an example. You know, typically maybe you would ask for thuso. Typical example, people will be like, he will figure it out. So if you feel like that thing also, it discouraged me, because I won't come back to you for help ever. Because I know you're gonna shut the door.
How you articulate yourself.
Yeah. So if you feel like if we train our mind to be vulnerable, here's the thing I love about vulnerability. Even if you have some issues you're battling inside, the more you talk about it, the less pain it feels.
And the less you those voices, it's like you are silencing them in a way.
Definitely. Yeah. So it helps. I feel like I don't understand how people like be in a relationship and they don't talk about deep conversation. Like culture, God, where we want to be, where we're going, where we're from, stuff like that, and how you feel as a man. You can just ask me, you ask me, how are you? I'm like, I'm okay, but I was nervous.
Yes.
So,
and I could see that you are nervous.
So as a man, you're not supposed to show weakness. You're not supposed to show weakness. You just say, I'll handle it.
But I love, I could, the everyday Robert that I knew, I could see that you are not that Robert. That's why I asked, are you okay? And if I was your partner, it was my cue for me, if you were to do anything out of character, I would realize but I could spot that he was not the usual Robert.
Yes.
So I think me being able to pick that you are not the usual Robert, it's the or maybe it's the start of me trying to realize there is something that is unusual. So if you are not well, I was going to be able to pick where you are not well. Yeah. But since I knew that we're recording, I knew these were just nerves. So now for me, I love somebody who is very vulnerable. That is why I got closer to you. And I also even trusted you with my child. You are now picking my child from school because you found me in a space where I was struggling to find someone reliable, somebody who I can just, who is very professional. One thing also that I love about you, you are very professional. You are always on time. 6:30, you are here. If you are late, maybe 5 minutes, you tell me, I'll be 5 minutes late. And you will have a good excuse for it. And it's not all the time. And those are the business ethics, because I'm also in business. These are the foundations or ethics that I love about you. You are a very professional person. And I love that we live in our culture. Renale, ditsala, masika, and everyone who babatsela ditiro ko tlase tse di rileng. And I like giving an example with me. A lot of people would think I have it all under control, but I don't. And my first job also, we itse gore ditiro tsele tsa ko bo labor ko go lalwang wa itse gore ka di 1 tsa January people ba lala ko labor go robalwa mo di boxing. I'm one of those girls. Ke robetse mo di boxing ke foletse go ikwadisa. I've slept mo di tanteng tsa statistics ke dira di survey ke dira madi ga ke se ke tlhophe ditiro mo botshelong bwa. I've been a helper where ha ke tswala form 3 ha bona ke rata bokala ka thata yana. My cousins ne ba ruta thata ko bokala ka ko bo Totome ko bo my kobo Shambe, kobo Nkangi. So I've stayed there. I would go there. I'll be their helper. They'll pay me money. And I've never really looked on what will people say. Yes, I have struggled, but it has never stopped me from making an income. So part of me really wants to help our youth to stop being selective on jobs. The jobs like many shops, the malls are there, the filling stations are there. Money is money. At the end of the day, when we go to the shop, we buy, nobody is going to say this money is coming from being a flight attendant. This money is coming from being a helper. So I think we can bridge the gap by us accepting that the jobs are not enough. You may have a degree, you might have a master's or whatever, but you still have to you'll still struggle to find a job. Make means with whatever that you have and stop being selective. I'm not even saying this from a privileged point because I have a full-time job. I would still I even in when I have a job, I would still go to you see events where before my back started being a problem, I would cook at events, make money. I remember even at my full-time job, I would cook and try to sell food at my full-time job. So for me, I really feel sad and pitiful to people who still stay at home and say, I can't do this because of what will people say. Guys, money is money. I'm not saying this from a privileged point of view. And also I met Robert he's educated and Robert didn't find a job. Robert is making money from cabs. He's looking into mainstream. Yes, making his income multiplied. And that's one thing that I love about you. Every day you tell me, Hore, I was doing this. This is how it has helped me. And every day I wish a young Motswana would have the same mindset as you. That is why I brought you today, because you might be in your, I don't know if you are in your late 30s or, your early 30s or late 20s, but you every day you really inspire me on how you see things. Every day when I engage with you on a certain topic, you really blow me away every day. And I would wish for our youngsters to start changing their mindset and say, you don't have to come from a privileged family. You don't have to have everything. You have to believe in yourself. I love how much you are vulnerable with me all the time. You'll tell me what has hurt you, what you have expected of life. And I love how it still doesn't stop you from following or chasing your dreams. And I would really like to encourage our younger boys out there to be like Robert. I'm not saying I don't want to put you under pressure, Robert.
People are gonna see me making mistake outside. Then they be like,
they would.
There is your Robert.
No, you know what I mean by be like Robert.
Yeah.
Be like I'm one person. If you knew me, I've tried life so many times. I've felt so many times dismally. And I still am trying again. The spirit of trying and never giving up. You never know when God is going to feel, hey, my child, you've been faithful. I want to reward you with this. And along the way, during these failures, there are certain attributes that are molded. For you to get somewhere. You know how the diamond, they make it through the fire. So our experiences tend to prepare us for certain things in life. So I would just like to say, Robert, you have siblings out there, you have friends out there. Like the last time we were talking about your other friend, you were trying to guide him. Keep on doing that. Plant that seed. It just have to be the seed. plant the seed on people around you. I'm not saying you are perfect, and I don't even expect you to be perfect. We just need a few people who think like Robert, and then we spread the mindset. And then imagine if we had like 50 or maybe 2. It does have to start even with one person. That is why you are here. So I'm just proud of you and like to encourage you and say, Robert, I know there are people out there who didn't believe in you. And I'm here to say, Robert, I believe in you. I've seen potential in you. I know you are a great dad from what I've seen, what you do every day. And I'm proud of you. May you be the man that God have brought you to be in this world, and can you continue to build the community, and may you go and improve on the relationships that you are building. Keep being vulnerable and keep being yourself, and God will reward you.
Definitely. No, thank you very much. Those words of validation, they are very, very important because even myself, I've went through depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had my share. Yes, although I
would like to know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because of your validation. You know, you get validation from people outside. So you ask yourself, can't this validation? Is it because they want something from me, or they see potential in me?
Yeah.
It's so much we need validation from people who are really close to us. Robert, my child, you are doing exceptional job.
Yeah.
Yes. Robert, my child, I see you moving from point A to point B. Yes. Just those words, I would be so happy. Banabakana very happy, oh, I'm on the right track. But you tend to ask yourself, am I enough? Am I doing enough? And people outside, they're saying, you're so good, you are this and that. But you don't get that from people who are close to you. And then you ask yourself, is it genuine, or they want something from me? Yeah. So if you feel like that's the other thing we can also install in our kids. Validate the thought. Maybe I thought I make a match where you were good today, but you could improve 2-3 things. Yeah. Even though they were bad.
In a construct, you give feedback, give them in a constructive way.
Yeah. If they were performing poorly in a game, football, they'd be like, maybe you were good, you had good movements off the ball. Maybe next time try to do this. Learn half really discouraged. You feel like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm being supported. Also, this takes me. I want us to circle back. I feel like we didn't talk much about Kanya pregnancy.
Yeah.
I have studied a lot.
Yeah.
I took time to really see what's going on. I might not know a lot about it, but the few little things that I've seen and I've learned, they have really helped me, build a relationship with people around me, with my child, with everyone. Do you know how Musadi Ale pregnant? They go through a lot. I mean, you are building your life. Your emotions, they change. Your physical, they change. And here's the thing that's funny. When my partner was pregnant, sometimes I would tell her, then I realized, no, man. That's just tone ya lentswe la gagwe le ntse yalo o na le high tone ha bua go nna ka re wa o man. I feel like sometimes we don't really take time to know each other. Re tabogile le tse dingwe, but we don't take time to learn each other. Kana there are a lot of things to learn about a human being. So ntse gore tone ya motho ha bua ntsana o tenegile ha bua ntsana o ngadile this and this and that. So for a long time we used to fight about it, like in the like, oh no, man, man. Then I let no. So I learned then, I learned to survive with it. I learned a lot. I had to change a lot. Like I didn't have to put a cologne. I had to walk around smelling like water. So those are some of the sacrifices that you need to make as a man. You need to be really there. Because here's the thing. If a female survives pregnancy, alinos, how has to give a birth? I mean, pregnancy is between life and death.
Yeah.
If they survive between life and death, why would they need you anymore? They will no longer need you.
I'm glad it's said by a man, not by a woman, because and whatnot. So I am glad that motho wa rre can really spot or maybe be mindful or thoughtful enough to realize gore during pregnancy there are
like
a lot of there needs to be a lot of patience and an extra kore le lorato lo lo heteletseng. And ka gore like we said earlier, pregnancy is a test of relationship. If you genuinely love somebody, it's going to show gore you really love that person or what. And it's going to reflect also on how you make decisions from there. So motho o imileng wa ilelwa ene motho wa rre mo culture-eng ya rona re di bona tsatsi le letsatsi o itse re bile ke sone stage se ka reng wa re itaole le go hetsa borre ga ba ilele motho wa mme o imileng. And that is the most time e leng gore ba itaola ba tswa mo lapeng and go mo go tsenya bogale mo mothong wa mme ka gore maikutlo a gago lone a sena taolo mo go one. Ke sone se o banang kgantele batho ba hella ba tsamaya go te motho o bogale. So nna tota hela kgang ya boimana le boitshwaro ba ga mme ha imile ke eletsa go tswa thata mo ngwane ka gore ke yone e leng gore le ka supa bogale ba be ka yone
kono. I feel like here's the thing. Pregnancy it's a really broad topic. Ebe na di subtopics tse dintsi.
Yeah.
Cause here's the thing. You feel like ara banna le rona we don't go there are people talk when you guys are expecting. You need to go. I know I didn't go, but I did my research so that I can be prepared. So you need to go to those therapy things because there's a lot of things to discuss about pregnancy. And the issue I feel like most of the time we ignore affection and intimacy.
And also to acknowledge each other's feelings. I think it's the most, for women, that's the most dangerous phase because women will feel insecure. You become less beautiful and you see yourself as less beautiful. So you need somebody's validation. So the moment ha simola anna intimate elsewhere, kana bona situnya se sila outside, it's going to wa go lebala gore a go validate wena mo lapeng, and then those insecurities are going to start being loud and being big, and that's when kantele relationship from after ngwana tsholwa you drift apart. So tota hela I think we really need to be intimate and build when the person is pregnant and be assuring of one another. So, yes, we don't have control over things that happen in life, but imagine how kana o mo dirile nko yone o ye sentle o expecta gore a ye go bonwa ke mang kana ha ile gore o tsamaile find ways, amicable ways to, in a very healthy way, to raise ngwana le co-parenting, which is going to be one of my topics steady tlang. I'm going to have a guest we leng gore wa go bua ka co-parenting, and he has a book on co-parenting simplified. So tota hela I think bana, for us to have a different culture, kanankare, a different mindset or leadership, we need to start it from the root, or we need to change approach on how we raise or lead our children, or maybe we need to change approach on how we handle our mothers, because mother, when you let's say when you have separated with the mother, and you handle them the same way, if you were respecting them before, and you still respect them like during your divorce or during your separation time if you are not married. Remember this person. If that woman is always frustrated because of back and forth, who is stable for that child? It means that child is going to consume the anger and the anxiety and the frustration because co-parenting has already dirwa. There are men out there who are handling the parenting. So tota, it's high time we realize when we divorce, it doesn't mean that we are divorcing our children. We are divorcing as adults, and we need to find amicable ways to to raise our children in a very healthy way mo e leng gore ka moso re tla be re itse go itse gore ngwana yo ke wa rona ba rotlhe re sa lwe ka ngwana. And how do you think we can get there as a community go itse gore ngwana ke wa rona re le babedi? I think we'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. Yeah, so you can just highlight gore how do you get there as co-parenters kana ka gore you haven't kana ke go ba mo spotting ka
gore. No, it's okay, I can answer that. No, gore like we are discussing, like everything starts from the core. Gore hela go simula hela gore let's focus on the boy child. Yes, a re morute gore go nna ntate go tewa eng. Go nna a father, what does that mean? You are not just a father, a word. It has a meaning. That means you have a human being that's relying on you. So most of us, we're just saying, if I give you money, it should be enough. And through my relationship with my daughter, I have seen the role that I have in her life. The things that I feel like, oh, she learned that from me. I'll be like, oh, she learned that from her mom. So you be like, oh, I want her to have these qualities. Then I want her to have these qualities. And how do I give her my qualities when I'm not available? So I have to be present. I have to show her. I feel like it's going to be generational because and I don't want to musiman. Feel like it's okay for a child to grow up without a father. So I think like let's teach our boy child how to be a man and how to be a father. What does that mean?
A present father.
A full-time.
Full-time present father.
Yes.
At times presence doesn't mean all the time. It can mean if you are just find balance. But if maybe, for instance, you are in a role it's more demanding, make phone calls, make up for it. On weekends, do activities as families. The holiday, make time, create space for your family. Because the sad thing about this world is reality will make you realize your family will always be the one person that is there for you. Should you die right now, who is going to be hurt the most? Your children, your wife, your immediate family. Your colleagues it will take them maybe like 6 months, then they forget you.
About you.
The employer enabled the moment I'm not saying this because I want to be mean to employers, but it's the sad reality. The moment you the post-its are already out there. So I would really encourage us to be very present in our children's lives, to be very present in our partners' lives, our family. Family is very important. And during the difficult times, like you spoke of depression earlier, I don't know who was supportive to you. Maybe disclosure, nobody picked where you were suffering, you were going through a rough patch. But most of the time, you'll find that for a family is the only support that you have. So we need to make time for our families. We need to be open enough to show our families our strength, our weaknesses. Now my family, they know me, man. I am loud. They know me when I'm up, when I'm low, because I show. And I've showed. I don't know how to hide when I'm in pain. I don't know if that's a weakness or that's a strength. When I'm sad, you'd see. When I'm happy, you'd see. So I'm that person. So I also communicate when I'm in a space where I need time. I will let you know. I'm going through 1, 2, 3. Can you give me some space? Before I didn't know how to say it. I will just bottle down. But these days, I've improved a lot. I communicate when I'm in a bad space. I just communicate that I'm going through 1, 2, 3. Can you give me some space?
When I was going through what I was going through is there's one thing that I feel like the experience that I had in life, it was like more like a lesson than going through a hardship. It's like a class. Mo classing, 1 plus 1 ke 2 times bokana ke bokana. So I have really seen a lot of things saying they didn't sit well with me, but some of them I chose to just keep to myself. And here's the thing also about being a father and being a mother. They're two different people. And they're so important in their own roles. When I was going through things, I could tell that my mom really understood me. Although we didn't talk, she could tell her, today this guy doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
Today this guy, okay, we're sharp. But a father just expects you to just show up. You just have to show up. And also, as fathers, anyway, if you have like 3 kids, you expect them, all of them, to be one person.
All in one.
Yes. You expect that Robert, you don't treat them differently. Oh, this is Robert, this is Robert. We don't treat our kids individually because we don't take time to learn them.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert, I know as a man, it's a little bit like too demanding because you're focused on like the finances, the what, but it doesn't have to just take 10 minutes to say, Nahati, how are you? How are you doing? How is it going? I want just that. Hell, don't give me money. Just that. Just show me what you care.
Conversation.
Hell, that's all I need. Because I have seen it with my daughter also. Here's the thing. When you do something to my daughter, she will say, date. And that showed me something. Why? Who is going to protect her in difficult times? If you do something to her, how if she needs like kind of protection or anything, she will say, so but it shows you she already understands what's going on in her life. Or okay, Daddy always protect me when things got like this, like this. But that's what we are. But because the love that I'm giving my daughter, in a way, I feel like I'm a twister because she will understand what it takes to love her. She won't like settle for anything, if I have to say that. Yes. This is love. Yes. This is how you love yourself. This is how I want to love you. Yes. This is love. Was love, was this, was that. So how no, my daddy didn't love me like this. This is not the love that I know. I know love improves with time because we are different human beings with time. But at least foundation highlighting here, right? Oh, love is like this. I can build from there. You feel like if we start from home, let's talk, guys. Let's talk. Talking solves everything. Even this and that, because we don't talk. We don't talk about intimacy. Pregnant. Some women are pregnant. They don't want to be intimate. Some men, they don't want to be intimate with a pregnant woman. Those are the things we need to talk about.
And then women will feel, so now he finds me less attractive. He has found a good girl who's hot now. They're having it with them. So
until we have those conversations, okay, let's say how are we going to go about? At the end of the day, I'm still a human being. I have needs, I have wants, and all those things. Until we address those needs and wants,
or have conversations, should we get to this point? Or how are we going to solve the problem?
That's the conversation we need to have.
I remember, even though it didn't happen the way that we agreed, I remember, I never forget this. I think that's one of the reasons why I got so mad when our situation got, because there was a point where I remember specifically my baby daddy was like, I was pregnant at that time. He was like, should our relationship not work? I would really not want it to affect our child or whatnot. Okay. So it was more like a reason where we are saying, we are agreeing, this is how we are going to solve this should we get there. We may not have everything in detail, but at least we had a small conversation surrounding that. But I think it has really opened my eyes in a lot of ways. This was, even though we were not married, it's more like a divorce. And we should start having conversations like, should we experience divorce? This is how it's going to work. It's not going to affect our relationship, our child's well-being. We should put this in place to have accessibility to maybe the child. So I think it's important for us as human beings or as people in a relationship, let's not be clouded by the days where it's nice and whatnot. Let's think of, should it get bad, this is how we are going to treat the matter. I think that is very important, because when we are really mad, or maybe when things are not working out, we tend to be very nasty towards one another, which end up affecting the children. We don't even think of the children. And these are the most affected people in the relationship. Can we learn to think of our children? Because they can't think of themselves, and they can't choose who their parents are. So can we learn to, and who their family members are? Can we learn to be the bigger people in the picture? Think of our children and the impact of our behavior on our children. We can prevent a lot, or we can solve a lot of issues when we are thoughtful and mindful on how we behave and how we say things, when we say them, and how and to who. And it's a high time, Tota, we take accountability and responsibility for our actions, for our behaviors. Di santse di le teng, and these days we have lawyers. These days we live in the times where everybody is in the self-awareness era. If something doesn't work for you, you just stay away, and to preserve your peace and your children's peace. Not that I'm promoting division. I'm all for unity, but if you tried a lot of things and it's not working out, you just go to church, you ask God and say, God, I've tried this and it's not working out. Can you take control? Surrender it to God. But I would advise people to just be thoughtful and mindful, and be what you would want other people to be when you need help, or when you are in a very low moment.
Yeah, I know. I think when you're preparation, we're too brighted by the good side. Yes. The worst case scenario. Whenever you mention, whenever this happened, that's the problem. In a case, this is how I want us to treat our daughter, or to share our daughter
more
in a
like
way.
a wheel.
Wow. So once you mention that, so what are so I think that is the other reason why we don't think that much ahead, although we're supposed to think that much ahead, because when you are prepared, when the worst come, worse than you thought, at least the little bit you're prepared for, it might help you bear it. Anyway, when things were happening to me, there are a lot of things that I expected, with my baby mama, but the fact that I already prepared my mind, okay, this person might be this way. But then, hello, she's going extra mile. I can a little bit accommodate it, because I was prepared emotionally and physically. Okay, no, I'm up for the worst. So you feel like our preparation is very important. Let's think, okay, if this happens, what are we going to do? If this happens, what's going to happen? Let's talk, guys. It's talking doesn't hurt, doesn't cost anything. We just have to talk.
It's free.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah. I would like to thank you. You took your time to come and expose yourself, because community ya rona kana yone santse ya akanya gore ra re perfect, we know it all. No, we don't, and we'll keep on trying different things until we get there. And so for success, for us to reach it, we need to fail many times. We are going to try so many methods of trying to solve a problem until we reach, or maybe we find the best one that will help us. With that being said, I would like to say, Tota, I wish you well, and may you keep on being this person who is learning life and being prepared. Learn to prepare and also explore and also be open-minded. Know that life is all about being open-minded. It's all about communication. Learn to communicate. Learn to know when to communicate, and encourage your peers out there, because you are in a space where, or in a time where, you can be influential if you want to. So that life, it can change when we take responsibility and apply the influence that we have. You don't have to be a wealthy man, or you don't need to be having a certain title for you to be an influential person. For me to have brought you here, it means that you influenced me somehow. So for me, it means where you are an influential person. Keep being influential, and you deserve to see yourself in more bigger spaces. And I'm proud of you, and may God keep on brightening that light that you have.
No, thank you so much. I'm very delighted to be here. Thank you for also inviting me.
You're welcome.
But yeah, the last word that I will say to men is, I remember, let's cry. It's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Nakalil. I cry.
And I my husband, who is going to marry me, I'm going to I'll give him tissues. The shoulder, the same way when I cry, I expect him to give me these broader shoulders. As women, let us give them shoulders. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
But that's what I was saying, like, I remember really say a lot of things. I've seen it with me. I cry, guys. When I'm going through a hardship, I just cry. After I cry, I figure it out. Yes. So it's okay to cry. Yeah. It's a good thing to cry. So Araskara Bipa, because you know what happens when you keep putting things in one place, it's contained. Once all hell break loose. And you tend to do things that you never intended to do. So let's just not bottle up anything. Let's just keep on releasing. I know when you're vulnerable, people use those things against you. But think about yourself. Don't think about the other person. Only yourself. How does this make me feel when I talk about this thing? They make me feel better. So let me continue to talk about those things. Because at the end of the day, we can say whatever we want to say. At the end of the day, we still, you are all to yourself and your own feelings. And the worst enemy that I've realized in life is fighting yourself. Yeah. When you're battling yourself, you're battling against your best rival. And once you win that battle, no one will stand in your way. I kid you not. So, yes, that's the biggest enemy you can ever face in life. If you're fighting against yourself. Then if you're fighting against yourself, there's no winning. There's only a biggest loser. So let's not fight ourselves. Let's just let ourselves live life, explore life, learn, live, love everything.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Robert, for those closing words. Until we meet again. Yes, I would like to say thank you to my viewers at home. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait for you to subscribe, engage, and share the podcast with your fellow community. Until we meet again, bye.